Hello and welcome to Craft and Chat. It's Tuesday, the 12th of August, 2025. Thank you so much if you are joining me live or on the replay. If you're watching the replay, please know we're going to be chatting for 20 minutes or so, and then we will be crafting. And yes, I know it's August, and here in the UK, we are having a heat wave, but I'm doing Christmas. And it's probably one of my favorite stamp set bundle combos that I've seen for a while. I think you're going to love it. So I would really appreciate it if you are watching on Facebook or YouTube, if you can do me a sound and light check. I am just going to head into YouTube. Yeah, we are all good in YouTube. And let's have a look at Facebook as well. Da-da-da. Yeah, we are live everywhere I should be. Awesome. So let me, yeah, that is all working. Now, I know that recently I haven't been live at this time at this time during the month. Normally I've been going live on the 1st and the 3rd Tuesday. This is the 2nd Tuesday, but I'm at the hospital next week, so I wanted to catch up with you now instead. So I've got my beverages because, like I said, it's warm here. And you know, as Brits, we love to talk about the weather. So what do I have to tell you? So in the world of Stampin' Up right now, we have the in color sale going on, and that is a huge range of products that actually have in color items in and amongst them. So let me just pull that up. It's 15% off. So it includes all kinds of things. So it includes your standard ink pads and markers and cardstock in the in colors. But it also includes things like the extraordinary washi tape, for instance, because that's got Darling Duckling in it. It also includes different paper packs and scrapbook workshop kits and actual kits as well. So it's really, really good. It's a really good sale. So check out that sales section on the Stampin' Up website. Hi, Margaret. Thanks for joining me today. And so, yes, so we've got that sale going on. There were 3 new kits that launched, including an autumn kit, and you're going to be hearing more about that next week. So I'm going to be putting some information up on YouTube and on my blog next week with that. So that's really good. And in the world of Stampin' Up demonstrators, we got to see the autumn winter catalogue, and it's pretty cool. So in a couple of weeks, so that'll be the 26th, I think. Where are we now? The 12th, 26th. Yeah, 14 days. In a couple of weeks, I'll do a full kind of stash reveal of all my new products. They don't go live till the middle of the first week of September. We've got ages yet. But it'll give me a chance to kind of investigate them, sort out which products I'm using for which classes, and all of those things. So that's really exciting. But from a customer point of view, you can't actually buy any of that right now. But if you joined my team right now, you can pick stuff from the autumn winter catalogue. So if you know that this time of the year is when you need some more crafty supplies, then I would absolutely recommend you think about joining. Do just ping me an email. There you go, Amanda@inspiringinking.com. Ping me an email and we can either chat via messages or email, or I can ring you and we can talk about it and I can tell you all the awesome things. That includes a 20% discount and access to 2 of my online classes a month. I run Craft Together, which is an online class, and Craft with Amanda, which is also an online class that my direct team of Stampin' Up demonstrators get to access for free. So there are so many benefits for being a Stampin' Up demonstrator. Obviously, the products are amazing. The crafting community of Stampin' Up demonstrators is amazing. My team is awesome. So yeah, it would be lovely to have more of you join. So I have a few things to show you today as well before we start full on Christmas. So I've got a couple of cards to show you that have arrived in the last few weeks. This is from the lovely Lorraine. She was thanking me for a gift I sent to her for her Stampin' Up birthday. So that's another thing I do to celebrate my direct team. Their Stampin' Up birthday is the anniversary of the day they joined my team. So every year I send them a gift, and this year it's been one of them. I've been sending, I can't say. I was about to say, I'll tell you what I send them, but my team watch this. And there's a few of them this year that haven't had their present yet. So I can't. So I'll tell you what I have sent them. In previous years, I've sent mugs with their name on. I've sent craft products. I've sent key charms and bags that include glues with their initials on. I've sent crafting kits, all kinds of things. Every year I change it. And yeah. So this year it is a Stampin' Up product that I'm sending, but I can't tell you. Okay, anyway, so Lorraine was saying thank you. So that was really kind of her. But what a beautiful card. It looks like a quilt. And she stuck the papers on and then embossed it, which is how you get the really beautiful quilt texture. And then this was from the lovely Elaine. And she was congratulating us on becoming or being grandparents to be. Nana and Papa to be, because just in case you missed me chatting about it all the time, Kimberly and Dom are having a baby at the end of the year, beginning of next year. So that is very exciting. So Elaine sent us this lovely card, and I need to draw your attention to many things on this card. The first thing is that is the washi tape. And I know lots of you have been talking about the washi tape. So that's the first thing. The second thing is these are textured card blanks. This one's stripes. And I think the other one in the pack is spots. These are really awesome cards. Love those. And then can you see the detail? Oh, look, there we go. It's focused and everything. Can you see the detail on that die? I've never seen that die. And you know me, I go backwards and forwards throughout the whole catalogue looking for stuff. And the online exclusives as well. And I hadn't seen these dies. So these dies are a set called Sentimental Framing Dies. They're part of a bundle with sentiments. And I think that's probably why I've looked at them and not actually sort of zoomed in on them. Because the sentiments weren't particularly sentiments I was looking for. But I missed those dies. Seriously. Look at the detail on that. So they're in my shopping basket right now, along with lots of other things that I didn't know I needed from the pre-order. Expensive times ahead. Hello, Michelle, and hello, Donna. Sound and picture all good here in Australia. That is pretty cool. Okay, so I've showed you those lovely cards. I'll put them on my shelf in a little while. So what I wanted, before I get to the crafting, very quickly, I have a question for you. And if you're watching this on the replay, I need your responses in the comments, because the question I am about to ask you and the responses are very important, because my husband and I disagree. When you hear what we're disagreeing about, you'll laugh. How do you stir your tea or coffee or any beverage? But you need to type your answer or when you've actually done it to make sure, because what you think you do and what you actually do aren't necessarily the same. So I stir clockwise. I have always stirred clockwise. And I hold my spoon so if that's the curved bit, it's kind of facing me as I stir. Brian holds his spoon in a different way, but stirs anti-clockwise. Interesting. I know it's not really interesting, but it is one of those weird things that you think, okay, so what about the rest of the world? So I'm taking a survey, clockwise or anti-clockwise, or do you do something different? So in the essence of research, this is Amanda's brain. If you're new here, you will get used to the tangents that we go off when we're chatting. In my research, I discovered that I always stir clockwise. If, however, I am making a cup of tea, so whether that's peppermint tea or proper English breakfast tea, proper tea, I do something which is called puddling, which is I go backwards and forwards. So with the tea bag, I use the spoon to make it go backwards and forwards. Apparently, that's how King Charles makes his tea. And apparently, it is the most efficient way of getting the hot water, boiling water. This is something really important to a Brit. It has to be boiling water when you pour it on a tea bag. For my international friends, the fact that you use lukewarm water to make cups of tea is just terrific. Anyway, you go backwards and forwards, and it's called puddling, apparently. Who knew? Not me, till I started asking the question. So there we go. So in a couple of weeks, when I'm back on the 26th, we will have another conversation. And I will report back. So regardless of when you're watching this, please let me know, how do you stir your tea? So Antriana, no, Antriana's with Brian. She goes anti-clockwise. But she says her husband stirs her cappuccino like he's holding a whisk. So does he whisks it? You see, I hadn't even thought about that. So if you're doing something like a hot chocolate, potentially, you might whisk it. And Donna's stirring clockwise and anti-clockwise just to be sure. But now I've said about puddling, she thinks she does that too. So isn't it, honestly, you would think these things that we do without thinking about, what's that all about? Anywho, shall we do some crafting? For those of you that are joining late and wondering what on earth Amanda's talking about today, how do you stir your tea? So what I'm talking about today is the awesomeness that is Christmas. And I know it's August. And I know for many of you, it's too early to be thinking about Christmas. If you're in my world, which is the crafting world of somebody who designs classes and events, I am always working in the opposite season. So in the summer, I'm always working on winter and Christmas projects. And in the winter and at Christmas, I'm working on summer projects. It's just how it is. But in my world, I would make Christmas projects all year round. And if I could get away with sending out Christmas cards for birthdays, I'd probably do that too. I just love all things Christmas. But this particular, sorry, I'm missing something. This particular set, when I saw it, it's one of the online exclusives. When I saw it, I was absolutely ecstatic. Because it is a stamp set, which is really cool. So you've got a hanging banner, some lovely Christmas sentiments, including merry and happy for Christmas. So lots of people love to say happy Christmas, and lots of people love to say Merry Christmas. And I use both of them interchangeably, but I also know that it's actually really important to have both options. Then you've got a little bow, 3 icons, so a stocking, a star, and a Christmas tree, a couple of presents, a snowflake, we always need a snowflake, and a little leaf there. But the best bit are these itty bitty punches that punch out the images. So I used this a couple of weeks ago, last week maybe, at my card class, and it was by far the favorite project for the class. So lots of people love this, and I've got a couple of cards to show you today with a few hints and tips, and then another card that I made that actually I can't make anymore because some of the products have sold out. So that just reminds me, because I haven't mentioned it already, there is a mountain of products in the last chance list. There are stamps, there are dies, there are embellishments, there are bundles, papers, scrapbooking workshop kits, ordinary kits, loads of things in the last chance list. So whenever you're placing an order, just hop over into there and just have a little rummage. It's a bit like wandering into Marks and Spencer's and seeing what's on the sale table. because you never know when you might think, oh, I need that particular sentiment or whatever it is. The word of warning is bundles are almost always in the last chance list more expensive than buying the stamps and the dies or the stamps and the punch. So if what you want is a bundle, check the individual prices first. I'm all about you maximizing your value and making sure your crafting budget gets as many things as it can possibly do. Okay, so let me get this camera turned around so that we can do a little bit of stamping and lots of Christmasing. So they're my little stamps. So let me, before I go on to these, I just want to show you the papers that I'm using today. So I haven't actually broken into my new Christmas papers yet. I will be doing so, but I thought that what I would do is see which other papers I could use in the meantime. So this is the pack of paper. This is Brights. And you get 4 sheets of each color. Yeah, 4 sheets of each color. And there are 2 designs. Hang on, let me just... Yeah, there we go. Let's go with the pumpkin pie. So there are 2 designs. So you've got a floral design and sort of a sponge textured design. And you've got leaves with tiny spots. And then the side that I'm actually going to use, which is like a watercolor wash stripe. It's like a distressed stripe. So these packs are fabulous because you get so many tone on tone of each color that they just work really well. Because so sometimes when you're making a project, you want some patterned paper, but you don't necessarily want something that's too in your face or too many colors. This works really well. So like I said, this is the Brights pack, and I'm using Poppy Parade for the red, Granny Apple Green for the green, and Daffodil, yeah, for the yellow. Although I think when I picked up ink pads, when I picked up my ink pads, I picked up slightly different colors, basically because I picked up the ink pads that I was using with my original card. That's fine. Because for this project, I'm not stamping. I knew there was a plan. So we're going to do this one first, and then I'll do the stamping one. But I need to show you. I need to show you how cool the stamps are. So let's get some out. So these are tiny. How cute is that? And Triana saying she's definitely in Christmas mode. Yeah, that is very cool. And then that one. So they're all 3 images. Now, sometimes when we punch out, sometimes it leaves a little white edge. But with these punches, it actually cuts the shape in its entirety. And look, can you see? It's left a little edge. So what that means is there is no white edge. Let me just punch these all out and I will show you that. So you can see you see there? All three of them have left a little bit of stamping. And when you look at the punched out pieces, there's no white edge. It looks like there's a white edge there, but it's not. It's actually the line. But that is super cool. So that works really, really well. Okay, let me just move that out of the way. So this first card, I am going to make. I'm getting all my bits out. So I've got early espresso card base and a white layer, and I'm going to cut 3 squares. So I'm going to cut a square for each colour. So these are 1.5 inches. So I've got to find my papers. So it's 1.5. So that's, oh, let me put those away actually. So that's the daffodil one and the granny apple green. And let's get the poppy parade as well. That's 1.5. There we go. And then I'm going to cut a square of the corresponding cardstock 1/4 inch smaller. So this is 1.25. And that one's going to go with that one. I'm going to go with that one. And that one is going to go with one. Okay. And in addition, I'm going to cut a little gold square and a white square at 1.25. So I'm doing this by cutting squares. If you've got square punches, you could do that. Or if you have dies, that would work really well as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp on this little white square, and which I don't know which one I've got. There's Christmas there, and that's Merry. So let's just check that. This is honestly, the font on this is just awesome. Look how cool that is. Now I can tell by looking at that, that's way too high. And that's got grubby bits on the back. So let's let's cut that again. Can't be having that. So it's 1 1/4 inches. Let's try it again. So I want it just above halfway. There we go. And I know I am such a sucker for a nice font. This is so cool. Look at that. Okay. So that is going to go on there. And then these beautiful squares are going to be punched. And what we're going to do is we're going to punch in the center of the square. Like so. So the daffodil one has got the star punch. We've got the stocking and the tree. And then what we're going to do is for the inside, nothing. Oh, it's hot here, people. Look, the Tombow is oozing out. See, it so rarely happens here in the UK that we get hot weather. So I'm just going to dab these. I'm just going to put these little punched out pieces as decorations on the inside. There we go. So that's going to be for the inside. We'll just let that dry off a minute. And then I'm going to use these and some dimensionals. So obviously you can use mini dimensionals if you want to, but I'm using monster ones. Hi, Carol. Connecticut is in the house. Thank you so much for coming and joining with us today. So that's that one. So there we go. And then the last one is there. Then just be careful. Blimey. So now I have to say the temptation is strong with these colours to put them in traffic light order. Hi, Lorraine. I showed everybody your awesome card today. Thank you very much. Yeah, so I am absolutely tempted to put these in traffic light order, but I'm not going to do that because yeah, it's not a good plan. So resist to go red, orange, green. Right, let's move that one up a little bit. There we go. And then this one, I'm going to add a couple How cool is that? So that's just using tiny scraps of paper. Now, if you've got lots and lots of Christmas papers already, this would be a great option. And you can buy the little punches separately. To be honest, the bundles, £35, I think. Might be 39. But I would go for the bundle, to be honest. But if you've got lots of Christmas papers, you could do this with lots of other papers, and that would look really cool. So there we go. So we've got the punch bit. That's obviously the Merry Christmas from the stamp set. Now, you could also use circles. So I appreciate, obviously that's a square, but you could do this with circles. So if you've got circle punches, so let me get one of my circle punches out. So these are old punches. We don't have these now, but you may well have them. So this is like 1 1/4 and 2.5 inches. And what I recommend that you do if you're going to use circles is you punch out the image first, like that, and then get your circle and position it so it's in the center of the punched out piece. It's more difficult to do it in the reverse, and then you would have circles instead of squares. And obviously that would be faster if you've got circle punches. So that's another option. Thank you, Carol. So that's one card. So another card that I did, I'm not going to show you this because it is out. Well, it's out of stock in Europe. Whether or not it's available still in the rest of the world. This is the Snowfall 3D embossing folder. It's gone. And this Happy Christmas is from Joy, something Joy. I can't remember, but that's still available. But I used the little punch out piece and some glittery gems as well. So again, that is a really, really fast card that you could do. So I've used a thick basic white as the base, and then that's garden green. Dana! Oh, my lovely, how are you? Oh dear. I do love it when my demonstrator friends from around the world join me. So thank you. Okay, so that's 2 cards. Really straightforward, mainly using the punches. But now we're going to make this one, and I'm going to give you some hints and tips, because this, although it's a really simple card and although it's really fast to do, some learning comes with it. Okay, so I'll show you my learning. Dana, sadly, no, I won't be going to Vegas. So Stampin' Up have a leaders event in November, which is in Vegas. But no, I'm not going this year. Sadly. Yes, Dana, everybody needs this set. How can you not have this set? Look, itty bitty punches. Everybody needs this set. Okay, so let me get where this is I've got stuff everywhere now. Woo. Hang on. I need some grid paper because this is going to get messy. Hang on. Chop a bit off, it'll be fine. Right, okay. So let's talk about this part. So I have got cherry cobbler, old olive, basic white. And when you look at this, you might be thinking, okay, we'll start at the top and work down. If you do that, I can guarantee you'll start again. And I promise this because I made several of these before I got to this one. So you need to do your center string first so that you can get your Merry Christmas in and everything else. And actually, looking at this, I really want that string up a bit higher and that string up a bit higher. So look, these ones are kind of falling off the edge. But we don't want them falling off the edge. So we're going to start with this one and ink it up. Now go gently. When I'm teaching classes, I say fairy taps, really gently. Do not smoosh this into your ink pad because you'll get ink everywhere. Okay, so we're going to start out with the middle. And I'm actually going to go slightly higher, like that. Then we're going to do the next one up there. And then this one. And like I said, I'm actually going to put this a little bit higher up. Okay, so we're going to do that first. So Dan is asking, are these punches the same as the Bitty Trio? Yeah, they are absolutely the same as the teeny ones. And I'm just such a sucker for itty bitty things. And you know, the other thing, obviously thinking about this card, if you didn't want to stick the punched out shapes on the inside of your card, you could use that as confetti. It would make awesome shaker cards. And you know, if you've got littles, you know, grandbabies, random younglings in the house, you could give them cardstock and punches, and boy, would they be happy to make you confetti. That would be good. Okay, so what we're going to do next is stamp the bows. And again, this is kind of counterintuitive because you think, oh, well, we'll put all the little icons. But if you put the bows in, you'll make sure that you fit 5 on each row. So stamp, and I start in the middle and go out 2, and then go that way, like that. And then start again. So I'm starting in the middle. And again, fairy taps. Because you know what's going to happen. If you smoosh it, you're going to get stuff everywhere. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you've got all your little bows. And obviously, if you don't want your stockings, let me just grab that. If you don't want your stockings to hang off with bows, so let's just pop that there. So what you can do is just put your stockings on like this. But then have your bow each end like that. I know that's a scrap piece of paper. That's really not a good representation, Amanda, but you know what I mean. So I like them having bows to hang on. But if you don't want to do 5 on each thing, then just put them each end. Okay. So now you are getting such an introduction to Amanda's world here. So now I'm going to stamp all the stockings and then all the stars and then all the trees. So because I like everything in order, and I don't want to have everything in line, I'm stamping these. So I've got red, then yellow, then green, red, then yellow, then green. Red is next. Yellow, green, red. Yellow, green, red in the middle. Makes me happy. Okay, so that's one. Let's go to the star. And you can have these hanging however you want them to. So you can have them kind of hanging at a jaunty angle or kind of tilted, kind of whatever works for you. You see now, because I've moved that one up a little bit, I'm actually getting the full image on the bottom. So that's pretty cool, isn't it? And then we are going to get the little tree. What is going on with that ink pad? Let's see. It's better. I think it needs re-inking. Okay. That's better. Okay, I will re-ink that when I'm finished. On my live, there's the tree. And because I took the time to do all those bows first, it just makes that bit really straightforward. No, Donna. Yeah. I like things the way I like them, Donna. But it's okay. It's actually really funny because some things I get really stressed about. So if those colors didn't go in that order, that would stress me out. But if one of the stockings was just like hanging off somewhere or a bit wonky, that wouldn't bother me at all. Wouldn't bother me at all. Isn't that weird? There we go. So now we've got to put the Merry Christmas on. And again, can we just be so excited about this font? Because it is stunning. Look how cool that is. So cool. So what I would like to say though is obviously this is all flat. Now here in the UK we have to pay with our postage. We have to pay if there's too much dimension. If it's more than 5 millimeters, we have to pay extra for the postage. So we've come up with all kinds of ingenious ways of dealing with that by folding our cards out flat and various other things. But with Christmas cards, unless they're extra special Christmas cards, I tend to have them fairly flat. But obviously what you can do with this, let me just get one of these punched pieces. Let me just pull that off like that. So what you could do is, instead of the stamped image, or if you stuff it up, because you know that happens, and you smudge it, or it's a bit wonky or whatever, you could just put a dimensional on there and just pop it on there and nobody would know. So you can actually dimensional it to give it 3D or not. You could also add in a little golden stocking if you wanted to, you know. So there are options. Oh, Dana, that's really interesting. So Dana says they can get away with 2 layers of dimensionals. Yeah, we can't. It's only 1 here in the UK. And Donna's saying Australia Post is the same. So it's frustrating. Glue dots would work, Donna. Yeah, glue dots. So glue dots and 1 layer of dimensionals is okay, but more than that, it causes an issue. Interestingly, one of the biggest culprits is things like this, which, you know, like a knot of ribbon, or some of the bigger, fatter embellishments and gemstones. So they can be a bit tricky too. So let me just scoot all the rubbish out of the way. So this is really making my heart happy because look, you see, just a little bit higher up. Guess which one's going to be on the preview for the video? That'll be this one. There. Now, obviously, I've gone real traditional colours here. Absolutely. But of course, you could go, you know, blues or purples or pinks. That would be cool. So look, so that's the stamp set and the itty bitty punches. Just do that because then it won't reflect. And then these are the 3 cards. So hang on, I'm just moving stuff out of the shop. So obviously we've got this one, but we talked about doing circles instead. And that's the Happy Christmas. So if you want to see, we talked about this as well, didn't we? Happy Christmas or Merry Christmas. You can have either. And circles work really well as well. And then this one, obviously, currently, well, in Europe, this has gone. I don't know about the rest of the world. And for my international friends, there are, I know many of you know this, but there are 3 warehouses for Stampin' Up. There's one in North America, which is in Utah, which covers the USA and Canada. There's one, I want to say it's in Melbourne, but I could be wrong. Donna will know. That covers Australia and New Zealand. And then there's one in Germany, which covers us in Europe. So the Europe warehouse covers the UK, Ireland, France, Germany, Austria, the Netherlands, and Belgium. So there's 7 countries that we cover in Europe. So there you go. I'll give you a close-up. There you go. So that's that one, and that one. Okay. So this set is available now. But the rest of the Christmas things, they will be coming for customers in September. It'll be the first Tuesday in September, which I think is the 2nd of September. If you are one of my customers and have requested a catalogue, you will be getting one from me. The last week of August is when they'll be getting sent out. And I thank you so much for hanging out with me this afternoon. All of the products that you've seen today can be purchased in my online store. And if you pop over to my blog, which is www.inspiringinking.com, you will see a click to my online store, links, shop now links, and lots of creative inspiration as well. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. As I said, I won't be here next week, but I will be back in 2 weeks. So mark your calendars so you can come and hang out with me again. I will be back on the 26th of August, and I'll have lots of new products to share with you. Those of you that are coming to my class, my Craft with Amanda class tonight, that's an exclusive class for my direct team and customers who shopped with me in the previous month. You're going to get to see a few sneak peeks later. Take care of yourselves. Thank you so much. I will see you all again soon. Take care. Goodbye.